Episode 9 of the Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3 was like a chance for all of us to take a deep breath after the chaos of Episode 8, and honestly, I was happy to see the characters finally looking at their own path, and even if just a little. But don't worry, because with Episode 10, we're diving right back into the Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah love triangle, and this time it will be more dramatic than ever. If you're ready, let's take a look at how the details in episode 9 might open the door for all the drama we're about to see in episode 10. Belly in Paris. At the end of episode 8, when Belly saw Conrad at the airport, I was absolutely sure she was gonna walk straight up to him, but since her flight was about to take off and she was being rushed, this reunion unfortunately never happened. After that, we saw Belly's first day in Paris, and honestly, I have never seen such a disastrous first day in my life. She could not enroll in school because she missed the deadline, she could not find a place to stay, and on top of everything, her bag was stolen. When she said her bag had a really valuable ring inside, I found it a little funny, and I wonder if you laughed at this horrible moment just like I did. Anyway, Belly managed to get her bag back, and she found a new group of friends who, just like her, had gone through messy relationships. And in the end, Belly decided to stay in Paris and start her life over. I honestly think this was the first healthy decision she has ever made in the entire series. But the question is, can she really restart her life with this new group of friends, or will her past catch up with her? Write your guesses. I will get to that in a minute, but first we need to talk about someone whose life truly fell apart. Jeremiah at rock bottom. Jeremiah seems like the one character who cannot and will not get over the cancelled wedding. Even though all his friends, Taylor and Steven included, tried to support him, we saw that he still cannot forget Belly and that deep down he thinks there's still a chance for them. At this point, I think Jeremiah was right to cancel the wedding and that it was Belly who ruined the relationship because she still loved Conrad. But what I really don't understand is why Jeremiah is still chasing after her. And when Belly called him, the way he acted like she was the one who left him and then told her he wanted to start over, I just could not wrap my head around it. Jeremiah, you made the right call when you walked away. Why are you going back again? If any of you can make sense of this, please leave a comment. Back to the subject. Luckily, when Belly told him this relationship could never work, we saw Jeremiah finally let her go completely. But the moment he told Conrad that Belly was in Paris, the way he said it felt like he was still in some kind of competition with his brother, and that made me feel like Jeremiah's love for Belly was really just about beating Conrad. Because if Belly's not with Conrad, then not being with her means nothing to Jeremiah either. Alright, now let's take a look at all of this from Conrad's side. Left out Conrad. Honestly, the one I felt the saddest for in this episode was definitely him. And yes, I understand why people are angry at him. After all, he confessed his love to his brother's future wife on their wedding day. But I still know deep down that he never wanted things to get this messy. That's why seeing him try to help Jeremiah no matter what really felt so sweet and genuine. The way he thought of Jeremiah's favorite food and drink, a cheeseburger and red Gatorade, even in Jeremiah's darkest time, showed that Conrad is someone who really knows not just Belly, but everyone around him. But realizing that the only real solution was to distance himself from Jeremiah was truly heartbreaking. What made it even sadder was the empathy he found for his dad, Adam. After years of feeling distant from his father, Conrad finally understood that maybe his dad was right to keep his distance. And I think this is gonna change the way Conrad sees him completely. After losing his mom and now growing apart from Jeremiah, I'm sure Conrad will start to lean on his dad for support. Now, the really important part is how he will handle the information he got from Jeremiah that Belly is in Paris. I will get to that in a second, but first, let's quickly talk about the only truly healthy couple in this show, Taylor and Steven. These two are finally together, and I cannot tell you how happy that makes me. They're both at the most mature stage of their lives right now. They finally understand each other, and they really love each other. I'm now sure we will only see good things for Taylor and Steven because they even talked about what happened after the accident they broke up over and forgave each other. So I think we can easily say that there are no obstacles left in front of them. I have a feeling not everyone in the show is gonna get a happy ending, but I really believe Taylor and Steven will. And maybe they might even surprise us with a wedding of their own, which honestly gives me so much peace and hope in the middle of all this drama and the messy love triangle. Episode 10. And now, the moment we have all been waiting for. Honestly, I have never been this excited for this show because in episode 10, we're gonna see big confrontations, and this time, we know these are gonna be the last ones. The episode will probably start off calm, just like we saw in the season 3 final trailer. Belly will be enjoying the streets of Paris with her new friends. She will get a new job, and she might even have some little flirty moments with Benito. But in the end, we will see that once Conrad finds out Belly's in Paris, he will somehow track down her address and write her a letter. I think the reason Conrad writes Belly a letter is that he cannot reach her by phone. And if you're wondering what makes Conrad so desperate that he goes as far as writing her a letter, the answer is obvious. Of course, his love for her. If he just wanted to know how she was doing, he could have asked Taylor, because as we saw in the trailer, Taylor also went to Paris and she could have easily told him about Belly. So the fact that Conrad writes a letter says it all. And I believe that while the letter is still on its way, Conrad will not be able to sit still. He will actually fly to Paris himself. I imagine this scene happening right after Belly finishes reading the letter with someone knocking at her door, just like when Conrad showed up suddenly on Christmas. From that point on, we will probably see Conrad and Belly walking through the streets of Paris, laughing and flirting. And do not worry, because we already know from the season 3 filming leaks that Conrad and Belly do have scenes together in Paris. But while Conrad and Belly are enjoying Paris together, I also need to talk about that one big confrontation we might see toward the end of episode 10, because it could very well define the future of their relationships. And yes, of course, I'm talking about Jeremiah, because just like Chris, we saw Gavin with Lola filming in Paris too, so we know Jeremiah will be there. When Jeremiah sees Conrad and Belly happy together, he will probably feel nothing but anger and betrayal. He might even feel like Conrad is not even worth punching anymore, so he could just walk away and leave Paris altogether. But what will hurt even more is that both Conrad and Belly will feel terrible after this. And I think Belly might not be able to handle it and could pull away from Conrad again. But here's the key part. Everything will depend on whether Conrad lets her go or not, because we know that the more Conrad fights for her, the more Belly trusts him and wants to stay with him. Now, we may not get to see Jeremiah's confrontation and Conrad and Belly's final decision in episode 10, but remember, there are only 2 episodes left until the show ends, and that means we're reaching the end game. So we can expect some big moves from the characters from now on. So what do you think is going to happen in episode 10? Let's talk in the comments. And if you want to hear about the honeymoon in Virgin River season 7, check out this video.